So, I love Danganronpa.
Who the starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.
Wait, no! It's because Ace Attorney is one of my favorite franchises. Someday I will learn how to build you. And during the early 2010s, there was nothing out there if you wanted to find something similar, apart from the British man. So I literally typed into Google in 2014, games like Ace Attorney. And lo and behold, this two-toned bear appeared.
Disgusting.
But what's this? It's on the PlayStation Vita. I don't have that. So I proceeded to watch a Let's Play of the first two games. But in 2015, for my birthday, I got a Vita, replayed both of them in anticipation for the spin-off releasing later that year, and realized this little machine was one of the greatest consoles ever made. Why are the memory cards so expensive? So the PlayStation Vita was Sony's sequel console to the PSP, which was what you would say the cool kids were playing, while everyone else had a DS with two screens with 140 resolution. Between the both of them, I didn't have a PSP, so I wasn't cool. I was in that Nintendo ecosystem, playing Pokemon, winning trials, using my Cyclo DS to all its potential. Look, if I can play COD for free on the DS, I will, okay?
Why is it still blurry?
But Sony's Vita was aiming to be the next big leap in hardware and graphics for handhelds, which at the time were either these types of games or with the iPhone, casual kinds, you know, you flick a bird at a pig. And it came out swinging with a 5-inch OLED multi-touch capacitive touchscreen, rear touchpad, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, 3G, quad-core ARM Cortex-A9 MP-core SPU, OLM extra hard gigabit Ethernet hyperjack.
I made that last one up.
I see.
And it still lost to Nintendo. I mean, when Sony was doing odd things with it, like trademarking their own proprietary memory cards, instead of, you know, allowing any SanDisk microSD card you have lying around to work with it, where Sony's cards were all tiny in file size and prices were very not tiny at all. The CEOs were probably thinking, yes, this is how we're gonna make our money back. They can't play the games if they can't save the game. Plus, I mean, this was the launch lineup for the Vita. And I don't know, it was kind of a cool idea to have the Vita play games that looked as good as the PS3, and it could run some of them too, squished onto this tiny screen. But then you would have things like the touch screen, a back touch screen, and then you play Uncharted and it's like,
you want me to bury you in those shoes?
it sure is Uncharted. It kind of felt like Sony was trying to get its studios to make PS Vita games of its console heavy hitters and badly copy Smash Bros. What we were getting looked visually good on the handheld, but actually playing them mostly wasn't that fun, especially when a lot of them made you use the touchscreen and the back touchpad, you know, that Wii era of forcing you to use the console's gimmicks. And that was felt in the sales and reception. On paper, the Vita was an insane console spec-wise. It could output amazing graphics and performance compared to the other handhelds, but the games you were playing on it were... So Sony changed course, where in 2013 and 14, they released the 2000 model, slightly smaller, but better battery and an LCD panel instead of the OLED. They also released the PlayStation TV, which would be like a Vita home console that you could play the Vita games on your big screen, and more importantly, I feel, capture footage for YouTube videos. As a funny thing is, when you look back a lot of the Vita reviews and videos from the time, so many of them were from top-down cameras recording it. This is not the ideal way to show off your brand new console. Like, even a few years ago, I wanted to stream Persona 4 Golden before we even knew it had a Steam release, and the only way I could, because it was a Vita exclusive, was to buy a PS TV. Or I could have just made it feel like it's 2012 again. But with this, people were noticing less of these big Western games were coming out, and instead, indie games and then JRPGs and visual novels were taking over the console. And that's what I like. During this time, I was in uni, and how you say, a big stupid weeb watching anime till 4 AM. And now this device has all the anime games, and it was a crazy time. I would be finding so many bargains on these games, like this was on sale for $4. It was as if the stores were scared the Vita was going to curse them, so they wanted to get rid of it as quick as possible. We have this one chain, Harvey Norman, which is not really known for games, and they were selling this monstrosity for $8. Yes, 5 games in one and a memory card They were just like, please take it, I don't want it. Which is how I learned about Gravity Rush. But yet, as you can see from my PlayStation trophy list, which turns out is a great way to show you that I'm not a poser. Look, I have actual proof. I was supporting the Vita and buying all these games that would give you amazing gamer cred.
Just following orders, eh, soldier? I bet your sniper scope is all aimed up to hit a score on her hotness, huh? What? I don't even...
I can explain.
No, I can't. I was a big fucking weeb, okay? What else could I say? It was where I bought Steins Gate after loving the anime, limited edition and all, and I even platinumed the game on the Vita, but I was trying out anything that felt anime. Keep in mind, all I played before was Pokemon, Ace Attorney, FIFA, Uncharted. These games were blowing my mind. What do you mean you got anime Fire Emblem and it's more difficult? What the heck? Now I'm playing Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, but I'm an anime girl and I'm making food? Amusingly, this is also around the time I got a PS4, and yet I would still keep playing Vita games. I got into Senran Kagura, Hyperdimension Neptunia, this game that has some amusing comedy.
Please, did he regain his power?
Sardines, of course!
Sardines?
Absolutely. You guys should indulge in them as well. They will make you stronger.
Arquebus Trip, Freedom Wars, and even, yes, Virtue's Last Reward. And also, my love of rhythm games started here, with Hatsune Miku and Persona 4 Dancing, which is very amusing. Like, I didn't want to buy Persona 4 Golden for the Vita, which I think was what everyone bought the console for, but I instead would purchase the sequel, Rhythm Game. It's so peak, okay?
Who's this nasty hag?
But you could notice the shift starting to happen. After I got Digimon Cyber Sleuth, Zero Time Dilemma, and the second Senran game, the PS4 was now getting these weeb games as well. Plus, I was getting into YouTube in 2016, so you know, I needed a way to capture footage. So when the Stein sequel and Miku came out again, I got them on the PS4 instead. The shift was happening. The 2 years was probably the shortest time I experienced the console, and yet despite that, I have so many fond memories of it. It was when I had a disposable income for the first time and could buy all of these games that I never got to experience on other consoles, and yes, they were all really good, okay? Well, most of them. And I think the fact that it was on the tail end of the console's lifespan where they're selling these games for less than a Big Mac now, you could see why I was trying out so many of this type of genre. But now recently trying them out again for this video, I kinda think the Vita loses a little of its charm. Like, firstly, you notice the slow loading on the game since there's no SSD, but the big thing is this stupid memory cards. See, the thing is when you get these digital games, they will save the game to your memory card and the save file. Oh, and you know, the cards, they're pretty small in size and pretty expensive, but you need a lot of them if you want to play lots of games, right? Oh, it's expensive to buy one big card, so you got to buy a lot of small ones. But then when you put the memory card in, you cannot tell which game it has installed because of the bubbles. It will randomly put the games that are on some other memory cards, like it keeps getting mixed up. So when you try to click on them, it just crashes the game. So you gotta keep swapping them out to make sure you find the right one where it was installed. Oh, but make sure you turn off the console every time you do that. Yeah, for some reason, swapping out the game cards is perfectly fine while the console is running, yet swapping the memory, it's like pulling out the brain while it's running. You really shouldn't do that. So I was actually gonna do this segment where I kept trying all my memory cards and I replayed all the games I had, showing you all my save files where I got to in each game. But my goodness, the amount of game crashing I had trying to start them. I'm sure all this swapping the memory cards out corrupted them at some point, working out, wait, this card was for which game? And then when I put the card in, it changes up which games are installed on the start screen, but then some games just stay appearing on all of them, like Steins Gate would just not disappear, I guess because I owned it physically. And then the file manager doesn't even tell you what Vita save files you have on the card, just let me play the game. So this led me to what every Vita video does now. I modded the thing.
You what?
Well, people say it's easy, just follow the website, but you also need to buy this converter card, which replaces your game card slot on top, letting you put those SanDisk micro SD cards in, expanding your storage a lot. Yet at the same time, you lose access to playing your own games because there's something in the way now. But then again, the modded Vita lets you find, replacement games, roll the clip.
You are a pirate!
And so my journey began, which was Fairly straightforward, you just follow this text guide. But a bit worrying because it started crashing when I was copying the files here. Turns out, I had to just delete every installed game I had on the console. Oh, okay, just rip off all my nostalgia, all my save files. But yep, it worked fine. Amusingly, you have to also use a QR code to install some of these things, which felt like a very modern thing to do. I don't think the Vita devs ever thought your console would do this. I mean, then again, they also had this AR functionality where you could scan AR cards. I never used it, yet turns out a lot of the games I owned actually had this functionality. So you can find the cards online for free now. And oh my god, anime is real. And so my journey ended.
That was a scary couple of hours.
Where now I got custom themes. Yay! I gotta say, searching for themes on these apps feels very clunky and laggy, but I guess it's what people had to work with on the Vita's hardware, trying to make their own custom apps, and the themes really take me back to trying to download PS3 wallpapers in the early 2010s. You know, where everything was
Hardcore nudity!
and I guess now I can play Japanese games in Japanese to learn Japanese.
You're a fraud. A total fraud.
It is kind of crazy to be playing the Persona 5 dancing game on the Vita completely in English. Also, Persona 4 Golden, you know, the whole reason people bought the Vita back in the day. Now I can do it! Plus, there's some exclusive Japanese games that's probably never gonna come west. No, really, they're never gonna bring this over. I think one good thing about the Vita is that despite of it having a small screen, it looks very crisp IRL. The camera is not doing it justice, yet when you see the recorded footage, it's kind of blurry. Oh yeah, that's a thing now. You don't need a PSTV. You can download a plugin and OBS just sees your PlayStation Vita as a thing. It's also seamless. Although I cannot for the life of me get the audio working. But yeah, another thing fixed. Did you know on the PlayStation Vita, you could take photos and videos, yet when you did, it sounded like this. So now I can mod it, and now I can freely take pictures without feeling like I'm setting off an explosion every time I click snap. Yes, the Vita is a valid photo taking software, okay. Look at that aesthetic. It's kind of cool seeing these, they feel so retro. Oh yeah, I was using this guide to find out how you can put Vita files on the PC now. It's pretty easy. Just make sure you have the hidden folders enabled. Thanks a lot. I figured out how to do this. You sound sarcastic. Edit. Sorry, I couldn't help sooner. Dealing with life. I got suspended from work today for reasons. So as we all use our Vita while we are suspended from work, I hope it too shows Sony that there's more life to the handheld industry. They were the sleek, edgy rivals to Nintendo. It's a whole different thing to the PC handhelds where they don't have this clean UI built by the Blue Man. Like sure, make your games turn into bubbles, that's so weird and quirky. They would greenlight all these games on the console that are so unique, as it then became a place for Japanese devs to dump a bunch of visual novels onto it, and that's the only thing that matters in life. Reading. Call the reading writing hotline. You really should read some more. I got to experience so many things when I had my weeb phase in uni, learning about Gravity Rush, the Steins Gate game, these things. There is still so much more you can do now with a modded Vita, like you can stream your PC to it and people are trying to emulate other games on it. But even if you don't do that and somehow get access to the expensive memory cards, having a stock Vita will work fine. The games run amazingly well, and it feels kinda nice having a console that's disconnected from all this modern features, because maybe you too can then find some game that's gonna stick with you for the next
The words
10
that
years.
my brain was thinking. Why not write about my adorableness instead? Or showcase my slender, toned legs reminiscent of a kangaroo? That'd be an instant hit with my fans.
That's a bloody outrage, it is!
Trojan, Ramses, Magnum, Chic.